Lovies, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to have a conversations with Tando, aka Storytime. In this video I want to talk about how I got to study in Russia. I want to talk about my journey from my high school to where I'm at right now, and I hope the story will motivate someone. And as you may know, I'm a South African studying medicine in Russia. I started studying here in 2015. I did my grade 12 or my matric or high school in 2009, and during that time I was still applying for medicine, but because my grade 11 results were not up to standard, because you need your grade 11 results to apply for university qualification. Because my results were not good, I couldn't get straight entrance into medical school, so I had to now use the BSc route in 2010 to University of Limpopo Teflop campus, and I studied BSc in Life Sciences, where I majored with physiology and zoology. And during that period of studying, I was also still applying for medicine, but still I couldn't get acceptance into South African medical universities. And then I went and did aquaculture. It taught me a lot. It taught me about research majorly, and also BSc taught me how to study. Those 5 years were 5 years of transformation or development. If after that, when I was done with my honors, I then went back home, because now I had done my honors and I didn't want to do my masters, because I, like, deep down inside, I kind of knew that I didn't want to be there. January 2015, I stayed at home, decided that, you know what, I'm gonna sit this year out and apply for internships. That's what I told my parents, and that's what I was doing. Then somewhere along the line, I then started to research on the internet about studying medicine outside of South Africa. I researched China, went to one of the university's website and I applied, and within a week I got accepted. But the tuition fee on its own was expensive, excluding transport, excluding living expenses, excluding accommodation. The tuition alone was expensive, and I felt like it would put my parents in a very tight spot. So I then continued to do my research in other countries. I then googled Russia. So I then read that and I said, okay, you know what, they're saying it's easy to get in and it's affordable. Let me just continue to research about it. I continued to research and I found an agency called Ruckus, which is an agency that helps foreign students apply into Russian universities. And to my fortune, or to my luck, I found that there's a Ruckus representative in South Africa who can help me out. So I went to his contact details, I contacted him, I called him up and said I should email him my documents. I did, and he told me that, you know what, you qualify to do medicine. Now you have to just pay the application fee. Now mind you, all of this was happening outside of my parents. My parents didn't know that Tando was busy researching about doing medicine outside. The only thing they knew was that I was planning to do my internship in aquaculture. And the 14th of February, my parents were involved in a car accident that left my mom with lifelong injuries. So now the money they had saved up was used to pay for my mother's medical bills and fix the car. So I then decided that, okay, let me postpone this. Let me do it the following year. My dad called me and was like, so what's the plan? And then that's when I started to tell him that, okay, and I did research and I spoke to someone who told me that I qualified to study medicine in Russia, but they need a certain amount of money for me to the agency fee. And my dad was like, I do not trust this person because you just met him off the internet. Find out if he's authentic and then we'll see what we can do. Luckily for me, the following week on a Monday, my mom had a doctor's appointment. We drove to Nelspruit. I went with my mom to meet the agent for the first time. First things he said to my mom was, give me the chance and let me make your daughter a doctor. I want to fulfill this dream of hers that she has. I want to make her a doctor. And my mom was taken aback by that, because this was a strange person. We'd never met him from anywhere, and already he was speaking with so much conviction that he can actually do this for me. So my mom trusted him from the get-go. We went and we paid the money for the application fee, and then on the 15th of April I got my admission letter, my acceptance letter, and it also had the fees, the cost of tuition, and it included everything. It included tuition, it included accommodation, it included flights, it included medical insurance, everything. It was just one amount of money, and it was more affordable compared to China. So now the problem was raising the funds to pay that amount of money, because mind you, like I told you, my parents used up their savings for my mom's medical bills and fixing the car. And that was where I had a cul-de-sac. I had a problem now of where do I get the money? Like it got to a point where I even prayed to God. I was like, God, I wanted to do medicine when the money was available. You said no, not now. Now there's no money available. You're saying yes. Like, what can happen? Like, what's supposed to happen now? What am I supposed to do? Do I leave this thing or do I continue? And I remember I got very depressed. I got stressed out. I got frustrated. And I just wallowed in self-pity. I just got into a very dark place. And same with my parents. My parents felt like they were letting me down. They felt like they were holding me back now. It is their fault. They are not able to provide for me. And I understood where they were coming from. I understood that it was beyond their control. They had to pay my mom's medical bill. They had to take care of the car. And then I found myself angry, and I was angry with God that why did he allow the accident to happen? Like, if he had not allowed the accident to happen, then my parents would be able to afford to pay for me. But because of the accident, my parents now cannot afford to pay. So I remember calling my agent one time, and I was crying, like profusely crying, and I told them that, you know what, I am cancelling my studies for this year. I'm putting them on hold. I'll go the following year. And he said to me, when you pray to God, what do you see or what do you hear? And the funny part was that I didn't hear anything. I would just have dreams, and sometimes the dreams I have come to fruition. The dreams I have mean something. And he said something to me. He said to me, God wants you to do this. He stopped everything from happening before because he knew you were not ready for it. Now he knows you are ready for it, and he will make a way. He could have said yes from the beginning. He could have made sure that you got straight into medical school from the get-go, but he decided that you were not ready for it. He wanted this specific season of your life for him to allow your calling to find you. Because you have been searching for your calling, and that's not what you're supposed to do. Your calling is supposed to find you. And he said to me, stop praying to God in anger. Pray to him and ask him to reveal things to you. Because he's been trying to reveal things in your dreams, but because you are angry, he is not revealing them anymore. And he said, he that has begun a great work in you, he is faithful to perform it. God does not start something and leaves it halfway. He sees it to the end. And that's when I came to realize that, you know what, having in self-pity will not help me. Let me just take it to the one person that I know who will do things for me. I started praying, and my prayer point was, God, I trust you. I believe you know what is best for me. And if this is what you have called me for, you will make things to happen. You will open doors that are closed. And from that point, that was in April, fast forward that to the last week of September, when I got the phone call that told me that I now had 2 weeks to prepare to come to Russia. And I didn't know how my parents were able to raise the money to pay for my fees, but they were able to. And they were also shocked that now I had 2 weeks, because they thought that, okay, they were paying for the following year, that I would go and start the following year. Since a year in Russia starts in September, the 1st of September, that's when academics start. So already it was end of September, so they believed that it was impossible for me to get admission again to continue and come and study. So when that happened, they were also shocked, and I had literally 2 weeks to prepare. I literally had 2 weeks to organize my life, get clothes, start packing, do everything in 2 weeks time. And on the 11th of October, I got on the first flight to Russia. And through all of this, that's when I realized that I serve a miracle working God. I serve a God who works according to his own timeline. He does not work according to what I want at that time. He works according to what he believes and he knows I need. So with this story of mine, I'm trying to say to someone, do not give up. It's not over until God says so. For as long as you are still alive, for as long as you are still breathing, God still has a chance to do something in your life. God still has the time to do what he wants to do with you. Allow God to use this season of your life, this current season that you're in. Allow God to find you during this season, because this is the season that he wants to find you. And sometimes we always believe that we need to find our calling. We need to find our calling. Don't you think that your calling will find you? God will find you, and he will use you the way he wants to use you during the time that he feels you are ready to be used. Maybe if he had allowed me to get into medical school straight from high school, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have the mindset I have today. I wouldn't be able to cope with the workload I have in medical school, because during the 5 years of my 2 degrees, I learned a lot about how to study, what to do, what not to do, and who I am and who I am not. Those 5 years taught me a lot, and those 5 years got me closer to God. So I believe he did everything for my good. So trust me, I know this very well, that during the times of frustrations, just fall on your knees and pray. Speak to God, and he will do things. He will turn your situation around for you. He will make sure that he comes to your aid, because he's a God that always answers. He might not answer during the time you want him to answer, but surely he will answer when the time is right. With this said, you guys, I hope that this video will motivate someone. I hope this video will give strength to someone and say, you know what, if this girl can do it, and I can do it, if God can do it for her, then who am I that God will not do it for? Just have a relationship with God, communicate with God, and have relationships with people that bring you closer to God and help you understand what God is trying to reveal in your life. Because sometimes we surround ourselves with people who not only take away from us, but push us further away from God instead of bringing us closer. So your associations, your contacts are very important towards your relationship with God, and towards God revealing what he wants you to do, what he wants you to fulfill in your lifetime. I hope you like this video. I hope it will motivate you, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel, and you will comment down below on what motivates you, what keeps you going, what is that one thing that has sustained you. And you can also share your stories if you have any to share, and just motivate someone else. Make them feel that they're not alone, because sometimes in this world you tend to end up feeling lonely, and it is not a nice place. As I always say, with love from me to you guys, may the good Lord ever stay blessing you. May he continue to ignite that fire inside of you, and may he find you. May his calling find you in the season that you are in right now, because that is the most perfect season that he needs to find you in.